Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Daddy and the Don. Graham's fucks off, and Phil's not here as per usual. I'm not supposed to be doing this, but I suppose it stops the awkwardness. I'll let our guests introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Jay, and I'm alcoholic.
Well, I mean, the camera's off, so it is still anonymous, I suppose.
Hello, my name is Carl.
What a start that was! Hello, guys. Sorry,
could have been any less smooth if you tried.
No, man, absolute nightmare. We're here. Anyway, listen. I am the Don. Sorry about that. I'm in the car. This is an homage to the co-host who isn't here. Hello, Luke. Luke's in the car as well. The co-host is either dogging at the moment, which is likely, or he's not allowed out. But he will be here soon. So we'll start off with Jay.
We had arrangements for later.
Maybe. Jay, hello, mate. You can put your camera on now. You all right?
Oh, is that my cue?
Yeah, you all right?
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. How are you?
Carl, how are you, mate? Thanks for coming back on.
Hello, mate. Yeah, all good, thanks. Quick question. How hot is it in your car currently? Because right now I'm in my living room and the only temperature I can describe it in is a fucking sauna.
Yeah,
It isn't. I can't be dripping any more than I can be. I hate sitting in front of the green screen in 30-degree heat. I can't. It's impossible.
For the love of YouTube. And finally, Luke, thanks for coming back on, mate. You're right.
Yeah, all good.
And where are you, Luke?
I'm wherever the fuck I want to be. I'm certainly not in the country car anymore. It's too fucking hot.
Again, we are expecting Mark and Phil to come on, and apologies for that start. I pressed the wrong button and I completely went off. So apologies for that. I think. So before we get to the first preview, just a few comments. Monday, big up Graham Potter and panel. My name's not Graham Potter, checkers. Why are we waiting? Can't see you. Yeah, well, we decided why, Rob, but we're on now. Anyway, let's get cracking. We were going to start with Palace Arsenal. We'll move on to. We'll start off with Spurs versus Southampton. So, Luke, I haven't spoke to you in the last couple of days. You went on last week's show, so obviously you are quite optimistic. You're quite happy with the transfer window. Is this you must start with 3 points and a good performance?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I mean, on paper, it's one of those games that, you expect to go in and get the 3 points. But Southampton is just one of those teams where you never know how they're going to turn up. They might be absolute shite, or they might just turn it on and play fantastically. Obviously, the difference is, we've found a little bit more stability with Conte and a system that players can stick to. And fortunately, Southampton aren't really one of those teams to just sit back and allow the pressure, which is, that low block is something we struggled with. But I would like to think it should be an easy 3 points for us.
And just going on your transfer window, how happy have you been with the addition so far?
Yeah, I think it's been good. I think, getting the players in early, which makes a change for us. Look, someone's invited him inside. What is it? Hydration break? He must be getting too hot in the car as well.
When I did the top 60, that was a sweat bucket in there, mate. That was the 40-degree heat day. That was not a good one.
Yeah, the transfer window, I think, has been, we got the players in early. At the minute, it's about the outgoings and trying to manage those. And then I think there's going to be some more signings. But until those outgoings until we get some gone, we're not going to see much action incoming. I think it's been strong, but I do think we still need to build on it. And I think there's one or two signings in key positions that we do need to make.
signings, how many do you expect to start this game?
So the game for Southampton, I would imagine Perisic starts. In terms of anyone else, I don't think Richarlison would start. It's a toss-up as to whether Longley starts, because I think Ben Davies is fit, and Conte does like Davies. He's signed a new contract. I've heard differing reports about Basuma, whether or not he's injured. I can't see Spence getting in there, not yet at least. I think he needs to take some time to really adapt to the system and sort of get his minutes in. Who else am I forgetting? Only Forster. Forster's not going to start. Be Lloris. So yeah, I think mainly it's just going to be Perisic, unless Basuma is fit, in which case I'd expect to see Basuma start.
Will Pezovic, where would he play? Left wing back?
Yeah, Perisic at left wing back.
Not Sessegnon?
Sorry?
Sessegnon?
No, I can't see Sessegnon. I think it'd be a rotational thing. I think Perisic is there to as a rotation, but he's the key player, and he's there to also impart a bit of knowledge onto Sessegnon.
Regarding the opponents, what threats does Southampton bring, and what have you made of their transfer window so far?
Again, I think it's hard to say with Southampton because they're just a hit and miss team. I haven't seen much in terms of their transfer window. I think they do go steady under the radar, and they seem to have a knack of picking up some half decent players at sort of a low rate. But until they play, it's hard to say. And also, obviously, there's a few potential outgoings as well. So I think the main thing with Southampton is keeping a lot of their players.
So regarding the performance, I know you said it should be a win. If you go out and win 4-5-0, will you get over the top, or will you be realistic? You won't do a Man United, surely.
No, it's always, you always need to be realistic about things. I think those kinds of results, they're not the ones we've had issues with. It's the 1-0 that they're the ones that we need to focus on. I've said it before. It's the 1-0 wins that they win you leagues. So I think Southampton might be a stubborn team. It depends how early we get that goal, because sometimes if you open them up early, then they go a little bit they let loose a little bit more, and things open up. So I think it could be a 1-0, but it also could be a 4-5-0. But even if it is, it's nothing to shout about. And we got Chelsea after that, so that's going to be a real test.
I'll go to floor's open for anyone. Anyone got any views on Tottenham against Southampton? Does anyone see an upset here?
Not entirely. No, not entirely. I think Southampton, they are clinging on to dear life for James Ward-Prowse at this moment in time. I think Prowse staying at Southampton, I think they're in a survival mode for this season, whereas Spurs have already repeated on this channel already their summer signings. They have made some very, very good acquisitions. I mean, that right-hand side of Kulusevski and their new boy DJ Spence, good grief, that left side for any team is going to be a massive, massive problem to deal with. I don't see a surprise in this at all. I think Tottenham should really clean through this, maybe 3-0, I think. I just think Southampton right now, they're in a bit of a position where they haven't really brought anyone in that really has wowed me. Joe Aribo, the central midfielder from Rangers, who had a very good season for them last year. He might be able to help make something work. But excluding that, they haven't really done much to bring anybody in that of what we know of any well-known established players. So, it's going to be a cutthroat season for Southampton. They have to keep James Ward-Prowse at all costs, and I think they'll stay up. But regarding this game, I don't see anything but a Tottenham win. I'd like to think not, but I can see nothing. I can see nothing but a Tottenham win in this one.
Mark, thanks for coming back on. Obviously, Southampton are going to be relegation rivals this year for you. Let's not make that mistake about it. You can think what you want. How good will it be Southampton to lose first game of the season? You'll be ahead of them.
No, we won't be ahead of them, mate. But
We'll get to that in a minute.
Southampton just bought really. Southampton have bought quite unknown quality. To be fair, like they're all young, up and coming players. You don't know how they're gonna gel together, sort of thing. So, and obviously, yeah, as the other guy said, he said James Ward-Prowse is like their key player. If they lose him, it's basically their curtains, really.
Anything else before we go predictions?
Southampton are shit.
Yeah, score predictions. I'll start with my co-host. Hello, Phil. Welcome back on, of course. Not in the car. He's fucked off now. He's going in the car. Jay, I'll go to you first. Score prediction, Spurs, Southampton.
3-0 Spurs. I agree with Luke. I think Southampton used to be a little bit like that, but I don't think they are. I think they were a terrible run of form towards the end of the season. I think the only good player that we know of that they signed was Aribo. And yeah, I think their squad is going to be a bit lacking this year.
Carl, prediction for this one, mate? I think you already said, but...
Yeah, I'm going to say 3-0 Tottenham.
Mark, what do you reckon, buddy?
He's gone.
Is that Mark who's gone, or is that Phil who's gone?
No,
it's Mark.
Yeah.
It's Mark. Mark's still there, but he's disappeared. So I'll go to you, Luke. Confident. What's the score going to be? 3 points, of course.
Yeah, I would agree with the other two. I think it's a 3-0. I think the main key is that clean sheet. We know Conte loves his defence, and I think so. It should be a win, but the main thing is if we can keep a clean sheet, that should put us in good stead going forward.
Yeah, Phil, welcome on, mate.
mate.
Just a quick thoughts and score prediction for this one.
I just think, like, even last year, I'd have backed Spurs to win this one. I wouldn't say by a big scoreline, but by a comfortable scoreline. So, like, nice, easy 2-0, 3-1 win. And I don't see anything different. Transfers for both teams have just reinforced it. Tottenham have got no real excuse other than to win these sort of games now because they've got the manager, they've got the players, and it's just about them if they can be like a top-level team now, because they've obviously been flirting with sort of like being a top 4 team in and out for the last few years. So it's just whether they, with that manager and the players now, they can take the next step. And these are the games you need to win if you want to do that. So I'm going to say I'll go 2-0 Spurs. 2-0, nice and comfy.
Okay, Mark, score prediction here for this one, mate. Mark's having a mare at the moment.
Looks like he's having something else by that face.
He's getting knocked off.
His dial-up internet connection is not good. You can't run Windows 98 anymore.
He's getting knocked off, isn't he?
His internet's back in the days when Fulham were in the Prem that he keeps going on about, isn't it? 13 years in a row.
I'm sure I've seen that picture on the nightly news.
Before we get to the main feature of the preview, we're going to go to Brentford.
I thought you said we weren't coming to the main feature.
Yeah, well, we are now. Convict level look. Jay, perfect time to face Leicester, surely. How confident are you going into this game?
Yeah, I don't know about confident. I think it's still Leicester away, isn't it? I think there's still plenty of good players in their squad. I know Schmeichel wants to go, but I don't think he's throwing his toys out of the pram to go, is he? He's just said, I've had enough here. I want to go and retire in the south of France, which who the fuck wouldn't want to do that? So, yeah, I think Maddison's a very good player. Whatever is going on with Vardy, he's still a good finisher and still a threat. So I think they've got quality throughout the team. Tielemans is still there, so they've had a pretty good pre-season as well, although they played some bang average teams. But yeah, like I say, it's still Leicester away. I'm confident in our squad, but we'll see.
What about that comment? Is that going to happen, or are you pretty certain that that's not going to happen?
They didn't walk all over us either game last year, so I can't see it being any different.
And just regards to the lineup, how do you see yourselves lining up here? Do you think the team that played against Real Betis will be the starting lineup?
Yeah, I think so. Like that's how it goes, isn't it? The team before your final preseason game is pretty much the team that you want to start with. So I can't see him changing from there. 4-3-3, yeah.
And just quickly, just to move on to a transfer, Damsgaard. We know football now. This is a good signing. Obviously, injuries is why he's probably going to Brentford. How excited are you to see him come in?
Yeah, he'd be a good player. Like I said to you the other day, I think if he comes in, I think we've had a 10 out of 10 window, even though Eriksen didn't re-sign. So yeah, I think we've had a still fucking good window anyway. But yeah, if we bring him in, I've said it the whole way through, we need an attacker. So yeah, I think he's a good signing. But yeah, like, I don't think his numbers necessarily back up how good he can be. Like you say, he's been injured last year and he didn't necessarily score teens of goals or teens of assists before that. It's just a few good glimpses of what he can do.
And just regarding Leicester, a lot of people very similar to Southampton, very worried for Leicester. Obviously, just looking at them, do you think they're in trouble this year if they lose for Fana, Madison, and obviously to Michael?
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. It's a bit of a... Because I think Brendan Rodgers was a bit weird all last year. He was just kind of like a bit blasé about having a fucking bang average season and like not really doing much with a squad that has got a lot of potential in it and has got a lot of money and wages in it. So, yeah, I don't know. They just seemed a bit off last year and they've signed literally no one. So maybe he thinks his squad's good enough. We know they're not in financial difficulty. So, yeah, fuck knows what's going on. I think it's a Rodgers thing.
What, do you think he's fine with what he's got? I don't think that'd be the case now, especially if they lose the 3 that have been linked away.
Yeah, well, they haven't even been linked with anyone. So when someone's been potentially... I mean, Tielemans has been on the cards since the beginning of the window, so you'd think they would be linked with a replacement for that, but you've heard nothing as well. So I think it's very, very late in the window and the season's starting to lose players and then suddenly think that you can sign someone on a good amount of money straight away.
Just going back to Brentford, I know we spoke about your expectation and where you want to finish. If you do lose this game or have a bad result, will you panic or will you just focus on the next game as always?
It's always focus on the next game, isn't it? Like I say, it's Leicester away. We're not at home to Arsenal with an easy game first seat like last year.
No, Palace got that this time.
But yeah, do you know what I mean? It's an away game. Like everyone talks about second season syndrome, even though it's not necessarily a thing. So if you don't perform, you get branded with that, don't you? You get the shitty stick with that. So you want a good performance. You don't want to lose, but it's the Prem. It's not the WSL.
Yeah. Moving on from that, we'll get to your prediction in a minute. We'll go to a few other people. Phil, what's your thoughts on this game here? Do you think this is a winner or this could be a down the middle Mia?
It's hard to say with this one, really, because coming like first game, it's not really... I wouldn't say there was a lot between the two teams to say like one's a clear favourite. And if you look at the 2 games last year, pretty sure Jay had backed me up that he was probably frustrated to get 0 points out of 180 minutes of football there. I think, was it one game you let in 2 really late goals and another game was just a complete belter? Daniel, was it? Yeah, like 30-yarder. Can't remember who scored it, but it felt like in those games you were in position to get the points and looked like you were going to get points, and then just like up against Premiership established teams, they find a way to get a win from nothing. And then the only other 2 times we really played them that are relevant is 2 years before in the FA Cup, and they weren't exactly maulings either, were they? I think they were just by like the odd goal or 2. So again, it's one of those games. I think if they lose it, it's not the end of the world. They'll probably take a draw, and if they win it, it's just a bonus 3 points to get the season up and running with. So I think all 3 results won't really make a difference to a team like Brentford for what they're expecting to do this year. And they'll just go in the way they normally do, take every game as it comes, including this one, and see what they can get.
Fair enough. Luke, what's your thoughts on this game? Do you think this is a big opportunity for Brentford to get a great away win, or do you think Leicester might come and show the critics wrong?
No, I think it's a really good opportunity for Brentford. The Leicester squad seems to be really fractured. We've seen Schmeichel has just gone to, is it Nice, I believe?
Yeah.
Fofana's looking to leave. Obviously, there's talks about Maddison as well. Newcastle are interested in him. I think they're just a little bit of a fractured squad, and I think some of the players are a little bit disillusioned as to the direction the club's gone. Obviously, they did the impossible by winning the league, but then they also seemingly did the impossible by staying in the top four for a few years. But they didn't. They can't seem to sustain that. And I think some of the better players are looking to move on. So I think Brentford have made some good acquisitions as well. I think Frank's been quite shrewd with the business that he's doing. Players that he knows and understands. And yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for Brentford, and I would put them as the favourites in this game.
Jay, just to go to you, Jay, I will go to Carl and Mark in a minute. Hopefully Mark's not getting noshed up anymore. Jay, just...
Luke's pulled out his tits.
Jay, next to you, name starts with a K, said that you would go down this year. Now, a lot of people use that because no Eriksen and second season syndrome. But I know from the outside looking in, I know that Brentford have done very good business and the fans are very optimistic. What do you say to people who think that you'll go down this year?
It's obvious why people would say it was like Eriksen that kept us up, but it was obviously a multitude of other factors. Norgard coming back, Raya coming back. Do you know what I mean? Kind of compounds things. But like, it's not like we were a flash in the pan to come up. We were Forest is a good example this year. Like they kind of came out of nowhere after having a bit of a shit start, and they haven't necessarily been knocking on the door and preparing their squad for the Prem, which is why they bought so many fucking players. So, we've been in a position where we've been preparing for the Prem for a few years. From kind of Mopai, who was ready for the Prem, sold him for 20 million, and then the same in the two subsequent years. Do you know what I mean? The squad is being built for that. So, I think we've just added to depth at the moment. So it's not like, and we don't play one dynamically. It's not like Sheffield United, who would send their fucking centre back to play when they're on the attack, send him up top, and people figured it out. Like, if we get figured out, Frank changes the system. Like, that's a fact. We played 3-5-2, 4-3-3, 4-3-4-3 last year, like, which is a bit rare for, do you know what I mean, a lower, just promoted club. So that's my 2 pence, mate.
Mark, hopefully you can hear me and we can hear you. Very quickly, your prediction for Spurs versus Southampton, and then your thoughts on this game, Leicester-Brentford.
Can you hear me? Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, thank God.
Go on.
Maybe the old Bills pop round.
Carl,
that's it.
Carl, it doesn't look like you're getting noshed off, mate. Anyway, Carl, I'll go to you.
No.
Obviously, you did say that you think Brentford will go down. A lot of Brentford fans would disagree with that of what they've done, but a fan who doesn't support Brentford will always look at Eriksen and second season syndrome. Regardless of what you think they'll do this year, do you think they can get 3 points here, or do you think Leicester will get the win?
I think this is going to be one of the most entertaining games of the week. Personally, Leicester are in a little bit of a crisis point right now, because Newcastle put in a second bid early on today for James Maddison, 50 million, I think it was. That got rejected, so you can guarantee you Newcastle will come back for a third choice. Tillman, there's a possibility of leaving, maybe going to Arsenal or Man United, one of the two. And they're relying on a 35-year-old Jamie Vardy, who, don't get me wrong, can still banging goals for fun, but he's 35 years of age. You know, you got Ian Atcher as backup, but he's average at best. I think Leicester at this minute in time, they're going to be just about hanging on to around about midway of the table throughout most of the season. I don't see them propping up and trying to challenge for the top 7. I honestly don't. I think the way Brendan Rodgers is doing miracles with what he's got to work with right now. And it will come a time where those miracles, unfortunately, they start running out. And I think Leicester is one of those teams where, and also as well, Schmeichel's gone to Nice. They've lost probably one of the best keepers in the Premier League, and he's fucked off to Nice. So your backup keeper that comes in now,
Danny Ward.
Danny Ward. I mean, if he turns out great, fantastic. But it worries me. With regarding a Brentford, I think they have bought well in the summer. But that second season syndrome for any team that came up the season before, we don't say that to piss anybody off. It is a legitimate reason. Sheffield United did that exact same thing. They finished 9th when they came up. Second season, straight back down again. It has happened before. I look at Brentford right now, okay, and you lose Christian Eriksen, okay? I'm just going to add this to a fact, okay? So Eriksen arrived around about in February time, okay? Here's something just to be wary about. From the let me get this right, okay? From the 5th of March all the way down to the remaining of the season, which was 11 games left of the regulars of the actual Premier League season, Brentford won 7 out of 11 games. That was with Christian Eriksen in the squad. The rest of the time, they managed to win 6 games. They don't have that set piece specialist. They don't have that creative midfielder in Eriksen anymore. That could be a huge definition and a huge loss to them. If they can somehow get through it and squeak and get past safety again, then great. I'll hold my hands. I'll say I got my pick wrong. But we have seen second season syndromes happen in the Premier League, and they're not nice. If you're hovering around there come Christmas time, it might be bleak for 23 onwards.
So we're not good at set pieces?
I didn't say no. I said you had Christian Eriksen when it came to set pieces. When it also came
before
to
that, we didn't score any set piece goals.
Yes, you did.
So out of the top 4, we scored the most goals from set pieces, and Eriksen got 4 assists. So okay, so that's null and void. And also in the beginning half of the season, we lost to Burnley. We drew with Watford. We lost to Burnley. Out of those wins that came when Eriksen was there, so everyone likes talking about this, how many were from shitty teams as well? Like the majority of them, we only actually beat Chelsea. So
fair enough. I get both points of the argument.
Fair comment.
I get both points of the argument. I think Brentford will be all right this year. I think they'll be fine. I think they might just be a bit position lower, but they'll be fine. But I get why people would say that. I understand that. If someone who doesn't follow a team as much, you got to remember, Jay, you're a Brentford fan, you'll see it differently. Like people who say Arsenal won't finish in the top 4 would be alien to an Arsenal fan because they would believe it. So, yeah, there's always opinions. If you ask a Southampton fan, they might be ecstatic with their window. We all think they've done shit, but they might be really happy. So,
it's one of those. I think it's one of those things. It's one of those things. It's always about the teams that are around you as well. So it's not just about your individual performance. It's about how the teams around you are performing. And I think there's enough teams around Brentford, or at least what we would perceive around Brentford, that aren't of the same quality that would keep them up anyway.
Just so you know, James is Jay. Apparently, Jay looks like James Tarkowski. Anyway, score predictions. I'll start with you, Carl. What's the score going to be here, Leicester Brentford?
Ooh, I'm going to say 2-2.
Phil, score prediction.
It could be a draw. I'm gonna go 2-1 Brentford.
Luke.
Yeah, 2-1 Brentford.
Yeah, I think Tottenham will win 2-0, by the way. I didn't say that. And I think Brentford will win 2-0 as well. Jay?
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I understand Carl with a draw. Definitely see that away from home. But obviously, I always back my team. So, yeah, I'll go with 2-2. 2-0.
Okay, we were going to do a Fulham preview, and he is watching. So, very quickly, score predictions. It's not going to be a hard one, this one. Fulham versus Liverpool. I'll start it 4-0 Liverpool. Jay, score prediction here.
4-0 Liverpool. Yeah, maybe. No, I think it'll be like 2-0. I don't think Fulham are that big of a pushover.
Carl, what do you reckon?
Mark Hill just stole my thunder there. Yeah, 3-1 Liverpool, I think. I think Fulham will eventually get a goal because they're back in the Premier League. They want to give their fans, something to be enjoyable about. But Liverpool right now, I mean, they can just put 4 or 5 past any team whenever they feel like it. As long as, I mean, if Fulham just keep it close and keep it respectful, don't let the women and children get violated. So, yeah, I'm going to say 3-1 Liverpool.
Yeah, Phil, what do you reckon?
I've got to say this. I wanted him to be on air, like on the show when we said this, but when Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest came up, they didn't buy a ticket to the Premier League. They brought the Fulham experience, two-way ticket, straight up, have a tour of the grounds, straight back where you came from. So, having said that, though, if you look at last year, I think they beat. Didn't they beat? Not last year. Last year they were in the league. They beat
Liverpool.
Yeah, they beat Liverpool towards the end of the season, and they drew with them in the home game. So, again, I know that was when Liverpool had their shit year after dominating, but even over the years, they haven't been spanked by Liverpool. But I can see I'll go for a 2-0, just a nice, comfy. They'll just get the job done. They won't underestimate them. They'll just do enough to win. But Fulham they won't take it lying down. They'll just do enough not to get humiliated. 2-0.
Luke?
3-0 Fulham. 3-0 Fulham. Mitrovic hat-trick.
Oh.
No, I think this could be a 4-0 Liverpool. I think this is a nice introduction to Darwin Núñez to the Premier League.
Guys, we've got 26 people watching, so please like, subscribe, leave a comment, ask us any questions you want, pick your score predictions. Thank you for watching, appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. We'll now go to the final game to preview. I've got a few questions at the end. Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. So obviously, first game of the season, Friday night football. Obviously, Arsenal not too long ago lost here 3-0 to Palace. Obviously, Phil is a Palace fan. I'm an Arsenal fan, and Carl's an Arsenal fan. I'll start with you, Carl. How vital is it to get 3 points here, especially after the pre-season and the hype that we seem to be getting at this moment?
Well, name me the last time we actually started off the season in a really good way. Because it seems like forever. We always seem to struggle. The first 5-6 games of the season in the Premier League, we always seem to struggle. And that always comes upon us not being prepared and not being ready. I think remember the last time we actually were prepared and ready for the season, I think it was 98 when we ended up winning the double. So, that kind of just says it all in a nutshell, frankly. What I've seen from pre-season so far has been really positive. Gabriel Jesus coming in, 8 goals throughout pre-season, which has basically hit the ground running. It's good to see William Saliba finally in an Arsenal shirt, because we've been waiting for him for about 2 years to come off flipping loan. And he seems to be the most solid centre-back we've had since Laurent Koscielny. I think at this minute in time for us, we need to, we have to get off to a strong start. There's no question or shadow of doubt about it. The fact we're going up against Crystal Palace and it's at Selhurst Park, we know how rowdy that crowd gets. And we also know the manager has pulled our pants down last season, which really wasn't any good for us because we completely and absolutely sucked. The second time losing 3-0 was embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. So I think for this start, get the win, start building a solid foundation at the start of the season, because I tell you this for a fact right now, we'll speak about this when, Graham, you come onto my channel tomorrow night, okay? There is no excuses now for Mikel Arteta. He has to get it right. Either he has to get top 4 or win the Europa League. Failing to do both, game over. You spent nearly £500 million on players, and all we've managed, and we still can't make top 4. Liverpool managed to get top 4 on their second attempt. So, with all due respect, it has to be now. Edu has turned around and said, we want to start winning trophies right now. So the message is now crystal clear to the players and to the manager. Get it fucking done. As for this game, we have to win. It's as simple as I will not accept a draw. I do not want to be ranting and raving on my channel on Friday night doing a live stream when we're fucking 2-0 down and like this is a same shit different day. Don't want to hear it.
I will go back to you in a minute, Carl. I'll go to you,
That's
Phil,
fine.
now. Obviously, you wouldn't mind a repeat of losses. So, how confident are you that you can get another win here? Or are you a little bit more cautious?
That's the thing. Like you'd expect to have high confidence because obviously we smashed you 3-0. Like even you'd admitted it. There was nothing that you turned up with that day. But even the game before when it was 2-2, Lacazette scored in 97th minute, and there was nothing. Pat went too defensive for the last 10-15 minutes, and I think you had a goal disallowed for offside, hit the crossbar, and signs were coming that you'd equalise, and he just sat deeper and deeper. So we probably should have done the double, but that still doesn't make me go out in this game thinking, oh, and obviously the way Brentford started last season against you doesn't give me the confidence to say, oh yeah, we'll go out and we should get a win. It's still, if you look at the two teams, every time we've played you, we've had the smaller squad, least valuable squad, least wages. You've always been the bigger club, so we're always an underdog, whether it's home or away. Yeah. So, but like having said that, if you look even under Roy Hodgson, last 8 games, there's been 1 Arsenal victory, 2 Palace wins, and 5 draws. So the two teams, the gulf in the two teams, you wouldn't expect that last 8 to look like that. So obviously, it seems like whoever the manager is, like Palace are a bit of a bogey team for Arsenal, whether people like it or not. So with it being the first game and our run of games that come afterwards, that is the sort of game that we need to try and get something out of at least. And I think the way Arsenal are better than everyone's making out, I don't think they're a good joke for everyone. But if you actually look at their team, they have actually got a lot of good players. Arteta, I know he gets a lot of criticism, but he's not the worst manager. A lot of people have said, if you sacked him, who would you get in? And not a lot of people can come back with a sort of like solid answer. So sometimes you just got to stay with the hand you're dealt. But I think Arsenal, they have still got that bit of a soft centre, and they can flake if they're under pressure and you pull it up them. So I think as long as Palace play like that and try to bully you a little bit, if we don't win, it's fine with me. But if we sort of just roll over and take it on the first day of the season, I'll be a bit disappointed, like we did with Chelsea first game last year.
Yeah.
As long as we go out there and try to like throw a few punches and put it up here, I'll be happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
Just obviously no Conor Gallagher, but starting to get a boner. Decore seems to be a bit of a baller, so you really should have got that boner.
Jay will be happy now. There's a semi there. There's a semi there in there.
That Decore is a baller, mate. But no Gallagher. How much of a miss will he be this year? And how excited are you now to see?
Hang on, whoa, time out. You just said no Gallagher. Why the fuck is
Gallagher? Gallagher.
No Gallagher. No Gallagher playing.
No Gallagher.
I swear you said no.
Gallagher.
I swear you said no.
I
Gallagher.
said no. I'm still learning to speak. Why do you fuck off, Jay? No Gallagher. How much of a miss will he be? And Decore, how excited are you to see him? I think he'll start now. He looks like he's a bit of a big. What thoughts on both of them players?
Like I said, it is going to be a loss, but like I said in like previous conversations, Decore comes in, he'll play, but I think Will Hughes will get a lot more game time now. He didn't play hardly anything back end of last season, so as long as one of them sort of steps in, it's not going to replace Conor Gallagher, but as long as they can do sort of like 3/4 of what he did, we'll be okay. And like we said, he had a bad last sort of 4 months with us. He didn't really do a lot. And
his best game was against us. His last good game was against us, to be fair.
And we picked up points still towards the end of the season. We climbed the table, even with him playing badly. So you've got to just take those positives that you can still play without him. It's like we couldn't get a point without Zaha in the starting lineup. I think for the first 2.5 years back in the Prem, we didn't register a single point if Zaha didn't play. So we've gone from sort of that embarrassment to actually being able to pick up points if he was injured for a stretch now. So I think we just got to go with the team we've got and just trust the boys.
Carl, go back to you, mate. Obviously, one thing that I noticed, and a lot of people noticed from the game last season, the 3-0 defeat, is how Palace pressed us and how we were unable to really combat that. Is that something that Arteta is going to be planning for this game, to how to play against the press?
He's going to have to. The way Palace literally bullied us off the ball because at that time we were still trying to play out from the back. When you know it's not working, trying to play out from the back, just boot it back up the field. That's it's common sense approach, and that's something that we just completely lacked when we played Palace in that second game. We have to be a lot more stronger this time when they have the ball, defensively as well. It's also depending on the fullbacks as well. Yes, Zinchenko is going to replace Tierney. I don't have a problem with that. I think Zinchenko is going to do massive for us. But Ben White playing right back in charge of Tomiyasu, that scares the living shit out of me, especially if he's going up 1-on-1 against Wilfried Zaha, because that guy can just send him for a donut at any given time. So that's going to be a major problem. But when we press, we can actually press really well. But it's just a case of, do you full press or do you just sit back and just let them come on to you? You can't half press because that's where you get caught. And that's where sometimes we just kind of ended up doing at the back end of last season. So if you're going to press, you press fully. It's as simple as.
Luke, obviously, I know what you want to happen, but what do you think will happen here? Do you think Arsenal could get a good start here, regardless of what happened last year? Do you think the confidence is now high for Arsenal to put a statement out, or do you think Palace will be difficult?
I think, I think a bit of both. I think Arsenal definitely have strengthened in the summer, made some very good signings. I think, they should have a lot of confidence going into the season. But Palace first game of the season at Selhurst is a difficult challenge. Mm-hmm. It is very, very tough. So I'm sort of on the fence in this one. I don't see Palace getting the 3 points, to be honest. I see this more as a 2-2. That's the way that I would call it. But I think Arsenal have every opportunity to take all 3 points here. But like I say, it's a very, very tough game. And should Arsenal not come away with the 3 points, it's important that they don't let it get to them mentally. It's it's first game of the season. Season's not over. Were that to be the case, like I say, it's a tough one to call. Really, really tough one to call. I don't see Palace getting the 3 points. That's the only result I would call against. But other than that, I really don't know. But I think there'll be goals. I do think there'll be a few goals in there.
No worries. I'll get back to you with a prediction in a minute. Jay, I'll come to you. Palace is shit and you hate Arsenal. So what's going to happen here?
I never said I hated Arsenal. I quite like your squad. I quite like your squad, to be honest. But I think Arsenal fans just need to chill out a little bit. And you're not who you were. You can work your way back there. You've got a big fan base, but you over-egg your squad a little bit. And I think Phil's underestimated his squad a little bit. I think for the first time in a very long time, Palace's team, they did their preparing last summer. And Vieira's had a whole year, and I think Vieira is a better manager than Arteta. I think it's definitely going to be a draw, but I think Phil's underestimated his team a little bit because he's not used to you being better than next year with the same players. Because normally they just get older, whereas these lot are younger, so they get older rather than just getting older as fuck. So I think Palace's team are going to be fucking good this year. I like a lot of their players, it's going to be a very tough game, but I think it's going to be a draw.
Just regarding the lineups, I'll start with you, Carl. How do you see Arsenal lining up? I know you went on it a minute ago about the fullbacks. Do you expect it to be what the lineup was against Seville?
Pretty much, yeah. So Ramsdale in goal, a back four of Zinchenko, Gabriel Saliba, and Ben Scheidt. Two midfield partners of Partey and Granit Xhaka. Attacking midfield three of Martinelli, Odegaard, and Saka, and up top, Gabriel Jesus. Exactly the same way against Sevilla. I mean, if we bang in 3 goals past Palace in the space of 20 minutes again, I'll be like, what the hell's going on? Because that shouldn't happen.
Marvin's saying that, obviously, me and Carl are both real realistic, so I don't know about high-bar players, but Marvin yesterday said if he had a combined Arsenal,
I think what Marvin is saying is there are fans that are trying to stay level-headed and trying to stay.
Which I am.
Yeah, we can be a little bit optimistic, but we know what the dangers are behind.
Yeah.
You've got another fan base which are very, very against the idea. They fucking hate Arteta. They want him out, gone, and thing. And then you got the other side of it, which is the other side of the fan base, which is basically they big up all these players. They think they know Fabio Vieira. Sorry, I've never even heard of the guy before. He played in the Portuguese league. If you told me
he could be a good player, but I don't know who he is.
He could be a good player, but Darwin Núñez has played in the Portuguese league last season. He banged in 35 goals, but the Portuguese league is absolutely shit. It's a different kettle of fish coming to the Premier League. It's a different kettle of fish.
I heard Luke and Phil could play up there and they can get 30 goals between them.
SAS, mate.
Marvin, not realistic, but Marvin yesterday said if he had been an Arsenal and Brentford combined, the back five would all be Brentford. For me, I think that's another exaggeration, personally. Moving on, exactly that. We've fallen behind Spurs. And I'm not denied that. And we know that. And we're not going to finish above Spurs this year. I think we'll finish fourth or fifth, probably fifth. Phil, how do you make your line up? Will your boy MacArthur start?
No, I think he's going to call time on him now. Got a feeling they might. If Zaha, Eze, and Elise all play, Eze will play as one of the centre mids, like they did towards the back end of last season. Obviously, that'll solve a bit of the Gallagher issue. Might see Klein maybe taking right back because noticed he was quick to take him over Joel Ward. Obviously, I'm not Joel Ward's biggest fan, so I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Carry on, Phil. You can talk.
I was just reading Chris's comment, but yeah, no.
Big up, Chris, by the way.
I think our biggest positive to take in is just the boner that Arsenal are getting over these pre-season trophies that they've won. The two games, I think they were all level-headed, like yourselves. Everyone was sort of a bit pessimistic, not getting over winning Emirates Cup, which is now one game instead of a weekend, like it used to be 2 games, and now it's like, oh, we can win it all. So sometimes that's our biggest friend, if that makes sense. That the hype is now the hype bus has rolled up, and we're not expected to get anything now because all people are talking about is Arsenal banging in goals, Arsenal this, Arsenal that. I think people, like when you get like a lot of Japanese and Chinese tourists come for the Arsenal Stadium tour, those trophies will be in the display cabinet somewhere, and they'll be looking at those, thinking, "Fucking hell, look at all these trophies they've won." So, like a lot of was it Kyle Walsh? He was saying like he's been waiting for like 18 years to win something like meaningful. No, there's been FA Cups in between, but a lot of that has just paved over the cracks, really, isn't it? Especially Arteta's one. So,
yeah,
like what Chris has said before, like winning those cups, it's a lot of teams have done it. Like Man United have done it. It's pathetic that they give out trophies for these sort of pre-season one-off games.
They have to do it for Tottenham, don't they? They have to do it for Tottenham, so they think they've won something.
Well, for Harry Kane, isn't it? So
yeah,
but
he won the Audi Cup and the Walk Cup now. Why don't I?
The what cup?
I forgot what they called popcorn. Was it called the Popcorn Cup or something? I don't know.
I know, but yeah, so it's all just commercialised bollocks, really. Isn't it? So yeah, I think that's just the best thing that could have happened for us. You go out and have a good pre-season, everyone get overhyped, and then we can just slip a result in through the back door. Then
yeah, you always can do that. We'll go to result. We've got a couple of questions. We'll go to the predictions. I'll start with you, Jay. Prediction for this one, buddy.
I'm stealing Luke's 2-2.
Luke's comment in my ears, mugging me off. Luke, while I read this, what's your prediction for this game?
Yeah, 2-2.
Come. Phil, score prediction.
1-0.
I'm going to go 1-0 as well. If I had to back Arsenal 2-1, I'll go with my head 1-0. Carl?
2-1 Arsenal. We'll get it done.
We'll get it done. Obviously, we're only predicting games where teams are here, but I know he's watching. Chris is watching. Very quickly, I think Chelsea are playing Everton this weekend. Again, very briefly, because he's watching, how worried is everyone about Chelsea? And what's the score prediction against Everton? I'll start with you, Phil.
I think Chris has been quite pessimistic about Chelsea this year. I think ideally they will want to get a couple of players in before the window shuts, but I think if they close the play with what they've got, they're still good enough to get fourth, possibly have a cup run. I can't see Everton being a problem for them. They'll have Lampard's number. I think 2-0, maybe a routine win. 3 points to start the season.
I'll go for you, Luke. What do you reckon? Briefly on Chelsea, and what do you think the score will be here against Everton?
I can't see anything but a Chelsea win. I don't know about 4-0. I think they might struggle to get some goals. Just adapting to a system, but I think it could be maybe a 2-1, maybe Everton nick one late.
Okay, Jay, what's your score prediction?
Chelsea 1-0. I think Everton are fucking rubbish. Don't really think they've done much. Lampard's shit manager. Move on.
Hang on, you had Chelsea to win 1-0, yet you just described Everton as shit with a shit manager, and you said 1-0. Okay.
Yeah, because
that doesn't make any sense.
I'll go to you, Carl. I'll go to you. What's your score prediction?
Oh, this is fucking easy. 3-0 Chelsea. Everton are dog shit. They just about stayed up last year. They didn't deserve to stay up last year. They deserved to go down. But they somehow managed to pull the magic horseshoe out of their arse and actually get away with it. So I'm going to say 3-0 Chelsea.
I think Chelsea will be fine this year. I think they finished fourth, but I think they might draw this 1-0. First game of the season. I think they're a striker away, but I think they'll be all right this year. I think everyone's overreacting on Chelsea and everyone's overreacting on us. So 2 questions very quickly. Chelsea win because Everton did not turn up. You can spell, well done. I'm joining the police. Guarantee the weekend. Very simple by now. Guarantee one thing that you will. Well, tell me one thing that you guarantee will happen. I'll start with it. I'm going to stick with what I just said. I think Everton Chelsea. That is going to be a 0-0 draw. Jay, guarantee the weekend.
You said 1-0.
I said 0-0.
I said 0-0.
I said 0-0.
Guarantee of the weekend. Oh, I don't know. Come back to me.
Fucking hell. Carl, guarantee the weekend.
Forest beat Newcastle in their first game.
Good one there. Phil?
Well, it's Liverpool to beat Fulham's absolute guarantee, and Darwin Núñez will get off the mark in the league. 100%.
Luke?
I'll go for. That's a tough one. So I'll go Liverpool to score 4 or more.
Okay, Mac is saying guaranteed. Got to be Spurs to win 0 at home. Mark says Ring will be the fault for at least one of the Liverpool goals. Guarantee the weekend. Jay, what's yours, mate?
All teams to score this weekend.
Ooh.
Even though I said 1-0.
What are the odds? What are the odds? What are the odds on that? What are the odds on that?
Fuck knows.
It's got to be about a good price. At least something.
Yeah, you've got to have a good price on that one, surely.
Yeah, it's got to be. We'll have a look in a minute. So, you all predicted Arsenal Palace. So, let's hope you remember what you predicted. Who scores the first goal of the season? What player and what team? So, I'll start off. I think Arsenal get the first goal, and I think it's going to be Jesus. Boring, but I think that's what's going to happen. I'll start backwards this time. Luke, who's scoring the first goal?
I completely agree.
Jesus, Arsenal. Phil, Decore 30-yard screamer.
Yeah, the Decore.
I just want to add a caveat. To that. Jesus to score first, and Arsenal fans to overreact about him winning the Golden Boot.
They'll be putting pictures of him on Pele.
Yeah.
Yeah, Phil, Decore 30-yard screamer, Boner Brigade, or someone else?
Yep. Boner Brigade's coming out. Decore, 8th minute.
Carl, who's getting the first goal? Who is it? What team?
Even though I said 2-1, I actually think we will freaking go 1-0 down. And I'm going to say Jordan Ayew to get the first goal.
How he still starts in the Premier League beyond me. William said a better start game. Let's hope he does.
He will.
Zaha,
He will start.
Like
He will
throwing
start.
out bangers here. He like Luke's throwing out bangers here. Zaha, yeah. Jay, who's scoring the first goal?
Yeah, I like that Zaha shout.
Mm-hmm.
Marvin's putting that. Okay, fair enough. All right, so guys, Premier League is coming up. First game of the weekend is on Friday, Arsenal versus Palace. I will be on Cole's show tomorrow night, so please catch his show. I'm sure he'll shout out his show very briefly. We have some more Premier predictions coming on this week and some more final predictions for Fulham and Brentford. I am taking a 2-week break from the 13th, so Phil will be running the channel. So he'll be arranging predictions. Good luck that. There probably will be no lives for a few weeks, but I'm sure I'll give you updates on that. I'd like to say thanks to my host. I'm not going to go to Jay or Luke because they tell me to fuck off. You can find them here on Daddy the Don. But I will go to my co-host who isn't in the car today. Anything you want to add, Phil?
Sorry, mate, I missed that.
Anything you want to add, mate?
No, nothing really. What was that at the start with you in the motor?
Oh, we were just in the motor, mate. We were just doing the U.
Yeah, backfired a bit, didn't it?
There was a homage to you.
I read it.
It was.
I just had mine service, mate. It ain't backfiring.
I read you like a book, didn't I?
You were late because you weren't allowed on.
Hey, you was in my car, that's why.
Where was you? Carl, bring up your show, mate, and your channel, and tell us about the show that I'm going to be on tomorrow.
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at KBSports31. My YouTube channel is KB Sports. So tomorrow night, I will be doing a live stream show with Graham, talking about Arsenal, how their pre-season has gone on, who have we brought in, what can we expect for this coming season, how much pressure is going to be on Mikel Arteta. And on Friday night as well, I will be doing a live stream for Palace versus Arsenal. So prepare for me ranting and raving and throwing more swear words than Frankie Boyle ever could. So please make sure you tune in for that on Friday night at 7:45.
And also, just want to think about Carl, a few people watching. He's a big American football fan, so he does a lot of content on American football and basketball as well, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got...
Go on, carry on.
That's it. I've got a demo podcast to do in literally half an hour's time, actually, with a few guys known as the Patriots Touchback. So we'll be doing a demo podcast and we're bringing out one later on in the week for our first one and so on. I'll be doing live streaming for the Patriots games as well, and also recapping shows for the UFC, which I'm a little bit behind because I know 277 has just been and gone. So I've got a recap show to do. So I'm a bit behind.
Rafa, where can we find you? Out of a job. Listen, he's gone. Guys, thank you very much. Stay tuned for more content in a week or so, and we'll see you soon. Thank you again. Bye-bye.